The best Wii games often make the most of the console's motion controls in creative ways. From wielding a sword like Link, traversing the galaxy like Mario, or feeling like we're playing tennis or bowling, the Wii is home to so many fantastic games that did things a little differently than the Nintendo games that came before. In addition to leaving its mark on popular culture, the Wii saw the launch of many experiences that make us talk about the console to this day. So, if you want to refresh your memory or relive this part of Nintendo's history by seeing which releases came to the Wii, watch the best Wii games in this video now. As far as classic strategy games go, Fire Emblem pretty much harks back to the beginning of time. It's been one of those series that Nintendo held back for a long time from American audiences, but now that we've got it, we can recommend it to any and all strategy fans. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn for Nintendo Wii did very little to change a formula that's been around for nearly 2 decades. The involving story is still there, the classic turn-based strategy originating on Famicom Wars, the 8-bit inspiration for the Advance Wars series, is at large once again, and players of a whole new generation got a chance to experience exactly what Fire Emblem is all about. A cracking 2D platformer from the folks at Good Feel, Wario Land, Shake It, or Wario Land, the Shake Dimension if you prefer the European flavor, brought the anti-hero's antics to Wii in fine fashion. It's hardly the longest 2D platformer you'll ever play, but its gorgeous art style and Wario's adorably greedy antics give us the warm fuzzies when we think back to 2008. The release of a Mario game is a monumental moment in the life of any Nintendo console, and Super Mario Galaxy more than lived up to that reputation. It cleverly mixed physics and brilliant design to create a series of environments that always felt fresh and exciting. This is one of those incredible titles that anyone, Wii owner or not, should find time to play. Seriously, next time your friends harp on your decision to buy a Wii, challenge them to play Super Mario Galaxy. Before they know it, they'll want to go out and buy one themselves. Groundbreaking as it was in the 90s, the 3D Zelda formula was starting to look a little tired by the mid-2000s, so while Twilight Princess is a very fine game, it certainly lacked the impact of its predecessors. The additional waggle implemented in the Wii version didn't live up to the ideas of 1:1 swordplay we'd imagined either. Did the entire world really need mirroring just to make Link right-handed? Still, at the time this was the only way to play the game in 16:9, and it made for a satisfyingly meaty launch title in North America. Not one for the purists. Perhaps you'll want to track down an expensive copy of the GameCube version for the left-handed, canonical geography of Hyrule. It might seem blasphemous, but it wouldn't be too tough to argue that Super Mario Galaxy 2 is better than Super Mario 64. What the title doesn't necessarily do in originality or innovation, it more than makes up for it in creative spirit and a true evolution of the 3D platforming/adventure genre. With level design alone, Galaxy 2 is a textbook example of taking simple ideas and expanding upon them in remarkable ways. Even more impressive is how new concepts are regularly introduced in an intuitive, logical manner. You're never lost as a player. Even better is that Nintendo never dumps down the difficulty, offering an adventure that is accessible to the inexperienced and experienced alike. Whatever Mario on Wii U looks like, it's sure going to have a tough time beating this game. Super Mario Galaxy 2 will always be remembered as one of the greatest games in a generation. La-Mulana is a challenging action-adventure game that combines the gameplay of classic MSX games with modern design elements. Players explore a vast, interconnected world filled with traps, puzzles, and enemies, uncovering secrets and uncovering the mysteries of the ancient ruins. With its retro-inspired graphics and challenging gameplay, La-Mulana offers a unique and rewarding experience for fans of old-school gaming. You played it, your mom played it, your granddad played it, more to the point, you all enjoyed it. Drawing people in with a gimmick is relatively easy, but Wii Sports managed to genuinely entertain entire families and get them playing video games together for an extended period of time, perhaps for the first time ever. This pack-in brought huge numbers of people together in silly me form and showcased the potential of motion controls to gamers from all generations. It's quite simply one of the most important video games ever made, and the most killer of apps. Mario Kart is always a highlight of each Nintendo's console lifespan, and Wii is no exception. Mario Kart Wii is a strong entry in the series, and finally took the kart racer online on a home console. The addition of bikes and tricks kept the game fresh, adding new gameplay mechanics to a series that is built largely on staying the same. And while the game did feel like it was aimed at a more casual crowd, this was still a Mario Kart game at heart. The first 2D entry to come to a home console since Mario World in the early 90s, 2009's new Super Mario Bros. Wii brought chaotic 4-player local multiplayer to the series for the first time and gave old-school fans yearning for a side-on Mushroom Kingdom adventure something to chew on, with plenty of clever nods to the past. Anyone put off by the new series' was and cuteness missed out on a real platforming treat. When it was first released, Super Smash Bros. Looked like an enjoyable bit of fan service. Toss a bunch of Nintendo heroes in a game and let them push each other around. But what nobody really counted on was just how freakishly deep the fighting mechanics would be. And that's why gamers demanded this franchise return time and time again. Brawl is the biggest smash yet, with a monster cast that, for the first time, is open to non-Nintendo characters. Finally, Mario and Sonic could truly go head-to-head and settle some 20-year-old playground arguments. There are plentiful ways to enjoy Cave Story these days, and none of them are bad. The WiiWare version will be mighty difficult to get hold of if you don't already own it and have it downloaded. The Wii Shop is no longer in operation, but regardless of where or how you play this indie platforming gem, it comes heartily recommended, and the WiiWare version was a winner. The Metroid Prime Trilogy is more than just 3 great games on a single disc. Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2 Echoes have been upgraded with widescreen presentation, an achievement system and, perhaps most importantly, excellent Wii pointer controls, bringing them up to date with Metroid Prime 3. Although the games were released over a 5-year period, and across 2 consoles, the Metroid Trilogy presents them like one epic saga of a bounty hunter and her struggle against space piracy, hungry alien creatures and giant, radioactive brains. This is the best way to experience the Prime series, period. Next-level games managed to recapture all the character and energy of the original Punch-Out! On Wii while adding a beautiful cel-shaded graphical style. With all the fighters from the NES game returning, the motion controls were cute, if a little hit and miss, but the option to play using the old-school control style made this a truly excellent update of a classic boxer where it's all about watching your opponent. Instead of dumbing down Donkey Kong for the Wii remote-waggling masses, Metroid Prime developer Retro Studios ramped up the difficulty in Donkey Kong Country Returns, producing one of the toughest platformers of the millennium. While you watch your one-up supply plummet to 0, at least you'll have some gorgeous set pieces, jungles, beaches, and temples to take in, peppered with the mine carts, barrels, and bananas of Donkey Kong Country's past. Like new Super Mario Bros. Wii, Returns retro gameplay with a modern makeover proves to be a recipe for success. A gorgeous, low-stress game that transports Kirby into a world of fabric and thread, Kirby's Epic Yarn was the first of Good Feel's material-based platformers and is arguably still the best. We adore it, and anyone who says it's lacking in challenge is correct, but missing the point entirely. Kirby's Epic Yarn is one of the most joyous and creative games on Wii, or indeed any platform. Heading into 2011, even as the system was fading in popularity, Wii was home to dozens of great games, several of which can easily be regarded as some of the best in history. Yet what we lacked was a game that fully and comprehensively proved its notion of movement-based play was right, that it could not only redefine a franchise, but do it for the better. Then The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword arrived. Skyward Sword was a huge risk. It took a series renowned for its innovations over the span of several decades and completely revamped its core controls, thereby fundamentally altering its core gameplay. No longer would the franchise's iconic hero, Link, swing his sword with the press of a button. Players would need to swing the Wii remote with precision. Suddenly motion gaming didn't just matter, it was an essential part of the game, and the experience of that style of play wasn't possible with a traditional control. An adventure game from Capcom that's bursting at the seams with creativity and ideas. Anyone who's played Zack and Wiki will wax lyrical about how you're really missing out if you never got around to it. Why? Because it's absolutely wonderful, that's why. Seriously, take a moment to navigate to your secondhand games retailer or auction site of choice and nab yourself a copy right now. If nothing else, it'll shut the ZNW evangelists up. Ordered it yet? Excellent. Now play it. Don't worry, we'll wait. Red Steel 2 is everything the first Red Steel wasn't. It takes place in a cool cel-shaded Western world where people solve their problems with guns and swords instead of talking. It was one of the first third-party games to show off the Wii Motion Plus technology, allowing players to swipe their sword in nearly 1:1 motion. The game is full of style and a healthy amount of violence. Red Steel 2 proved that Wii Motion Plus could make games better and more immersive, and wasn't just relegated to mini-game collections. Before the sublime Rayman Legends, there was the sublime Rayman Origins, a 2D platformer par excellence. As they say in Ubisoft's homeland, the Limbless Wonder always had an impressive heritage in the platforming genre, but this arguably raised him up alongside the invention and beauty of Nintendo's own offerings, perhaps even higher if you ask players who aren't fans of Super Mario's new adventures. According to the very few who have actually played this sleeper game, Muramasa, the Demon Blade is as much a piece of art as it is a video game. This marvelous entertainment-developed experience is one part role-playing game and one part old-school brawler, but most importantly, it's one of the most visually creative games to be released in Wii's lifetime. There always seems to be something new around the next corner, giving this original action title an enormous sense of discovery. The seamless blending of visuals, audio, and fun makes Muramasa is a true 2D classic. LostWinds, Winter of the Melodias is a beautiful puzzle platformer that follows the story of Toku, a young boy who must harness the power of the wind to navigate through the game's world. Players use the Wii Remote to control the wind and help Toku overcome obstacles, solve puzzles, and defeat enemies. With its charming art style and innovative gameplay mechanics, LostWinds, Winter of the Melodias is a delightful adventure for players of all ages. A sequel to Treasure's cult classic N64 rail shooter, which didn't make it to the West until it appeared on Wii's Virtual Console in 2007, this sequel improves on the experience and is arguably the better of the two games, yet another fantastic addition to a huge and impressively varied console library. We're thankful we didn't have to resort to importing this one back in the day. If Resident Evil 4 hadn't previously appeared on GameCube, it could easily have topped this list as a Wii exclusive. The upgraded controls in Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition are handled expertly, and detonating the heads of cultish near zombies is probably the most satisfying shooting experience to be had on Wii. The addition of all the bonus content from all previous versions of RE4 makes this the definitive version. MadWorld is a stylish and over-the-top action game that takes place in a dystopian future where players participate in a violent game show called Death Watch. Players take on the role of Jack, a contestant who must fight his way through hordes of enemies using various weapons and environmental hazards. With its black and white art style and graphic violence, MadWorld offers a unique and memorable gaming experience. A crossover fighter bringing together Capcom's finest with the varied faces of Tekkaman, Karas, June the Swan, Gold Lighten, and other luminary characters from Japanese animation studio Tatsunoko's IP portfolio. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars was an appropriately gorgeous, madcap and joyous console-exclusive fighter on a system which missed out on some of the biggest franchises in the 2D fighting space. Part platformer and part RPG, Super Paper Mario succeeds on both accounts. It controls tightly and uses the Wii Remote in a smart manner without any waggle gimmicks. The most attractive feature, the ability to switch from 2D to 3D, is built around clever and surprisingly complex and impressive puzzles. Plus, the lengthy 20-plus hour adventure will keep you hooked until the end. Our hero may be paper-thin, but this is an enormous game. While Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is arguably the best way to play Monster Hunter Tri, the original game is still an impressive piece of software from Capcom. It's something of a slow burn, and certainly a daunting challenge if this is your first hunt, but the old-school monster hunting magic is in this game's DNA regardless of platform. If you have the fortitude to persevere through the first few hours, you'll find out why this series has only gone from strength to strength over the past decade. One of the most remarkable things about Xenoblade Chronicles is how innovative it was, daring to revamp the JRPG formula and try something entirely different. While the result perhaps wasn't as polished as a more traditional entry in the genre, Monolith Software's experiment more than paid off. The result was a fully unique and truly exceptional adventure, one that perhaps pushed the Wii hardware too far past its limitations, but in doing so offered one of the grandest adventures in its library. Part of Konami's ReBirth series, which also includes Contra and Gradius, this M2-coded offering has very little to do with the Game Boy original, outside of the fact that it showcases Christopher Belmont in the lead role. A return to the hand-drawn 2D visuals of the classic entries in the series, Castlevania. The adventure ReBirth plays like a dream, although it can be somewhat brutal at points and, with only 6 stages, doesn't offer the same amount of content as, say, Bloodlines or Dracula X. It's also no longer available for purchase as Nintendo has long since closed the Wii eShop. Fingers are firmly crossed that Konami sees sense and republishes all of the ReBirth titles on modern-day systems. Wii fans everywhere rejoiced when it was announced Okami would be coming to the system. It's not hard to understand why either. The PS2 version was fantastic, and the addition of motion controls to wield the celestial paintbrush only made things better. The brush's special powers make way more sense with Wii's pointer controls, and the upgrade to widescreen shows off the game's stunning visuals that much more. Throw in an engrossing story and lovable characters and you have a game that everyone, especially adventure fans, should make it a point to play. Sonic Colors is a colorful and fast-paced platformer that follows Sonic the Hedgehog as he races through vibrant and imaginative levels to stop the evil Dr. Eggman. Players must use Sonic's speed and agility to navigate through each level, collecting rings and defeating enemies along the way. With its charming visuals and classic gameplay, Sonic Colors is a fun and engaging addition to the Sonic franchise. Now available to play on Switch along with its predecessor, No More Heroes 2, Desperate Struggle continues the stylish Ms. Adventures of Travis Touchdown in a sequel infused with the same punk aesthetic, referential humor and sassy surrealism as the first game, except with the splintered edges sanded down to a still pleasingly rough finish. Sonic Unleashed is an action-adventure game that combines fast-paced platforming with exploration and combat. The game follows Sonic the Hedgehog as he tries to restore the world after it is shattered by a powerful new enemy. Players control Sonic in both his speedy, hedgehog form and his powerful, warhog form, each with its own unique abilities and gameplay styles. With its blend of high-speed action and engaging storytelling, Sonic Unleashed is a thrilling addition to the Sonic franchise. Goldeneye 007 is a first-person shooter that is widely regarded as one of the greatest video games of all time. Based on the 1995 James Bond film of the same name, the game follows secret agent James Bond as he attempts to thwart a criminal syndicate's plot to use a satellite weapon against London. With its innovative gameplay mechanics, intense multiplayer modes, and faithful recreation of the film's iconic scenes, GoldenEye 007 is a must-play for fans of the James Bond franchise and first-person shooters in general. Little King's Story is a charming and whimsical simulation game that puts players in the role of a young king tasked with building and managing a kingdom. Players must recruit citizens, assign them roles, and expand their kingdom through exploration and conquest. With its colorful art style, engaging gameplay, and quirky sense of humor, Little King's Story offers a unique and memorable gaming experience. Wii Fit is an exercise game that uses the Wii Balance Board peripheral to track players' movements and provide feedback on their fitness levels. The game offers a variety of activities, including yoga, strength training, and aerobics, all designed to help players improve their balance, flexibility, and overall fitness. With its intuitive controls and customizable workout routines, Wii Fit is a fun and effective way to stay active and healthy. With Wii Sports in the box and games like WarioWare, Smooth Moves arriving shortly after launch, the Wii became known as the party game system early on. As party games go, the WarioWare series is hard to top. WarioWare Smooth Moves presents collection of micro-games, doled out in quick succession. It's 4-player, Wii remote waggling madness. You have only seconds to figure out what to do in each game before you're on to the next one. Additionally, WarioWare Smooth Moves features a healthy dose of Japanese wackiness. Some microgames are downright unintelligible, adding to the general sense of pandemonium. Taking Kirby back to his classic style of game following a couple of genre departures, Kirby's return to Dreamland was a worthy return and yet another glittering gem in the Wii's platforming lineup. With all the color and creativity you'd expect from HAL, and a ton of content to delve into, this was a wonderful trip to Kirby's Land of Dreams. Pro Evolution Soccer 2009 is a soccer simulation game that offers realistic gameplay, lifelike player animations, and intuitive controls. The game features a wide range of teams and leagues from around the world, as well as various game modes, including exhibition matches, leagues, and cup competitions. With its attention to detail and focus on realistic gameplay, Pro Evolution Soccer 2009 is a must-have for soccer fans. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 12, The Masters is a golf simulation game that allows players to experience the prestigious Masters tournament at Augusta National Golf Club. The game features authentic courses, realistic golf physics, and a wide range of gameplay modes, including career mode, online multiplayer, and mini-games. With its stunning graphics and immersive gameplay, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 12, The Masters is a must-play for golf enthusiasts. So, did you like the games I recommended? So leave your like, subscribe to the channel to follow me and activate the bell because I post a lot of videos on this channel and you can't miss it. Thank you very much for following me this far and until next time, bye.